This is interesting and different.
This is. It's a little.
Ooh. Oh, well. Oh, I have to. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, we got the music back.
Even if Lana's not here, we still have to add the music.
It just feels right.
We gotta add the music. The music, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Well, welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the tea in reality. You can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I don't know what's happening, but we're just gonna roll with it. I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. We're drinking water because hydration is always important. Always some of the most important. But we are also drinking Red Bull. Today, specifically, we are drinking peach Red Bull. It is peach and nectarine, and it's very good.
Alrighty, this is Ashley Keenan coming back with coverage of what might be my favorite episode of the season so far. Hot take. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, very excited to talk about my dear friend Simon in this as well. I just finished Gatorade. Probably find some of that. I do have wine in the fridge. Depends on how I'm feeling.
What flavor of Gatorade? I'm so sorry.
I've got the Frost Cool.
Oh, the best
Ooh.
flavor. The best flavor.
The Glacier.
No.
Glacier Freeze. Anything blue I'll take, honestly. So.
No, because the best flavor is cucumber lime, and I will die on that hill.
Oh,
anyway,
I've never tried it.
Haven't had it.
It's so good.
And yeah, you bet you all didn't know I watched Australian Survivor, but it's Brook. College graduate who plays way too much effing Smash Bros. Although this past week, I finally got around to playing Stray on the PS4. Chef's Kiss, great game. And I am drinking out of my Cup Podcast branded mug. Just some water. Shop at
Buy your mug. I still have to. We now offer hats as well.
Mm-hmm.
My entire next paycheck is going to Lana. So that's where we're at.
But yeah, just before we get into this particular series of episodes, I was not on the first 3 weeks because I had to catch up the first 2, and then last week I was busy. But I just want to say this just for the record, Rogue is a POS, and I'm very happy that Rogue is no longer in the cast. And also, to be clear, Rogue, POS, not to be confused with POC, as she would like to have you believe.
My favorite African-American contestant this season. What are you talking about, bruh?
Semi-American.
That was a joke. Please don't take that out of context. That was a joke.
Oh, you know it's going to get screen recorded.
Well, probably. I mean, whatever.
Regardless, not a fan of her. So happy that our least favorite Jillaroo, whatever the hell that is no longer on the cast.
It's a farmer, but in Australia, you know.
Oh, it's
Cowgirl.
Literally, it's
cowgirl.
It's an Australian cowgirl, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Regardless, happy she's no longer here as well. And now we just got to get rid of Flick and everything will be great. Regardless.
Oh, that's who you were talking about. Oh, boy.
We're fighting.
Good tea. Good tea.
What did Flick do to you?
We'll talk about it.
Wow. Okay. So someone here is against the women.
No.
Is what I'm hearing.
I love Haley Leak.
Well, every person you named
You're like,
was
I
a
like
woman.
one. I like one of them. Don't worry.
I like Haley. I like Nina.
The fact that you didn't bring up Nina first, fake fan. Fake fan.
I'm sorry. This is a Haley Leak state account. My sincere apologies.
I love Haley. I'm not mad. I love Haley.
Here at the Cup, we love Haley Leak. There are no Haley Leaks in your cup. Regardless.
So we're coming back. That dumb cunt is gone. And everyone's happy. Everyone is thrilled that she's gone.
I don't think I have ever seen a more annoying presence at camp. Like, objectively, I was...
I can think of one right off the bat. On Survivor, Debbie from Co-Wrong.
Oh, no, that's a queen. That's a goddess. Okay.
Oh, I love Debbie. Don't get me wrong. Debbie and I were actually in the same organization, fun fact. When she talked about Civil Air Patrol, I was in it for 6.5 years. Fun fact for your day.
Wait a minute. Were you a model for that farming catalog though? Like that's the
No,
real
I was
question.
not. That's the only relationship I have with Queen Debbie.
That's a wait a minute. Were you
But
like
no.
were you ever a waiter, waitress, whatever?
I was actually a waiter.
She was a waitress too.
I have to go through all of her careers. I really just need to go through all of it. But
My favorite editing joke the show has ever done.
truly bring her back. I need more Debbie.
Correct.
So the dumb bitch is gone. George is Georging, whatever. And on the villains, Liz is sad. Liz is upset. Because the only people she has options with right now are Jordy and Simon. And she's like, Simon, gross.
Liz saying
But Liz being an icon. I'm just saying, I love Liz so much.
Mood.
Oh, she's impressing me as the weeks go on. Thrilled, love it, fabulous. But yeah, so it's very factioned on both tribes. You have the George faction on the Heroes tribe against the original heroes, and you have the hero majority on the villains tribe against the original villains. It always happens that way. We got a reward, and it's the classic run around in the water around an oval and catch the other team.
It was a pretty hot challenge, I'd say. Mostly for the viewers. I don't know about the temperature in Samoa, but hot for us.
Oh, I loved seeing Stevie run around that circle.
That was who I was talking about. How'd you know?
Oh my god!
Our
Telepathy!
minds.
Oh my god! Our minds.
So this is the first time I've seen this challenge played in points. Like traditionally, I feel like it's just like the one, and then you catch, and like the whole tribe does it, and then it's just over. But I don't know. This challenge has never done it for me. I've always thought it was kind of lame and kind of boring. So, yay! I'm happy it was just a reward challenge. It's better than them holding up blocks between their feet, but mid.
I mean, is anybody surprised that the villains win? No, don't be surprised.
Of course.
Yeah, they have all the big, strong, muscly men who now get to eat a Australian breakfast, a big, juicy Aussie breakfast.
Ooh, who doesn't love a good Aussie breakfast, though? You know.
I've never had one, so I don't have an opinion.
That's tea. I've heard they're great.
But now I want breakfast food.
Literally.
Ooh, I could go for freaking pancakes right now, like a nice stack of flapjacks.
I want potato pancakes right now.
Ooh, a good latke, yes.
I make mashed potato. So I love latkes. I make usually mashed potato pancakes.
Ooh, I'm here for it.
They're so good. Anyway, this is not a food show today.
It could be.
Pressure cooker coming soon.
Truly. So we go out. We go back to the villains. They are breakfasting. They are very caffeinated. They are all over the place. And while they're doing that, Liz is like, no, this isn't for me. So she goes out. And Queen finds an idol. Period. Idols.
The interesting thing though, she was talking to Shawnee at the challenge, and she was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm in trouble. If we go to tribal council, I'm done for because
that part.
All these muscle guys." And Shawnee was like, "Oh, I might give you the idol at the immunity challenge if you feel like you need it," because she didn't bring it to the reward. But Liz is like, "No, I'll just find it on my own. I appreciate it.
I'll just go find my own idol. It's fine.
Don't worry about it." Again, Liz proving why she is the definition of the word mother.
And then proceeds to only tell Jordy.
Choices.
Well, I mean,
at the moment, I was like, great idea.
If that's your only person you have, like, you feel semi-comfortable with, I guess I would probably too. I wouldn't want to be on an island by myself. I'd rather be on an island with a joker, with a clown,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Maybe be able to try to figure out a plan. I don't know. I get it. It's tough when you're thinking you're so singularly.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Then we go over to the new Villains 2.0, and Simon is desperate. Simon is trying to get in with the heroes, and so he ends up making this deal. Sam says, "Give me your idol, and we'll take you to merge." And Simon says, "I'll give you my idol if you give it to Flick to get out George."
Bet. Which you can see him weighing what's good for me, what could be good, what are my options. And like I feel like where Simon's at right now, he's not in a great place. He doesn't think. And he's like, how can I become a better place? And I think for him, considering it is something he has to do. He can't just say no, because if he says no, he's the next, right? Like, but like him doing it, thinking it, showing it, it shows like he has the flexibility and adaptability to go to your side if you need to. And I think that might be something that could help him get further into the merge. I don't know.
See, I'm of the opinion that there are two things that you can do that are like critically awful for your game when you play a Survivor. One of them is overlie. For examples, look at like Val Collins with her two idols on Samuel Josser. But more specifically here is tunnel vision. Okay, you get so focused on one goal that you're not looking at the forest for the trees. And dude, Simon has been the definition of tunnel vision this entire season. Like, the entire time. I get it. George is a big threat. George voted you out your first season. I understand. But big picture.
Yeah, but like I think when George has been equally pestering him back, I'm sure. So it's like something like when someone pesters you back, it's hard not to think about it. I get it.
Oh, trust me. Based off of how the edit has been portraying George and like how George has been treating Simon and talking to Simon in response as well, and occasionally first as well, like neither one of them are playing like a morally upstanding game in regards to the other, but George has the maneuverability right now that Simon just does not have. So the tunnel vision could end up sinking his game long term, I feel like.
Yeah, and like I don't want it to. I really don't, but like having played like orgs and shit where I've tunnel vision for so long, and then like when I'm like I need to stop tunnel visioning, that's when your game can get dynamic and adaptable and like maybe change. So maybe if Simon can get off this damn George, which I want him going to like don't get me wrong, I'd love him go, but it's hard once you get into that place, and especially when you're on a beach, nothing else to think about. Like it's hard. I can imagine. So I'm hoping, praying, manifesting that Simon can make it through merge, gets off that, and maybe like can find some footing in the game, because I just feel like he hasn't got footing ever.
Yeah, I think I would agree. But so we go to the challenge. And I don't remember what this challenge was.
Obstacle course with coconut slingshot at the end. Standard Survivor fare.
Oh yes, obstacle slingshot. Thank you so much. And heroes win. Whatever.
What do you
like,
think
the challenge? Go ahead, Ashley. Sorry.
Like, what do you think about Nina being the slingshotter? That was my only like one question mark of like what their logic was. Like, I think Nina did great and fine, but like I feel like slingshots need a little bit of like that oomph behind it, you know, to get out that pullback for some of those faller ones.
Are you saying a man needs to do it, Ashley?
No. I just I'm thinking Sean's tall ass legs. You can get that big stretch back because you got to like plant your ass down,
No,
you know.
On the other half is like The other half is like the accuracy, though. Like the power is only half the battle, and maybe they figured Nina would have like the best ability here. I don't know.
I think Nina probably has the best accuracy of anybody on the tribe. I would say maybe. I don't know. I didn't think it was a bad decision per se. Because we see all the time the big strong muscle man gets up to do the slingshot and he misses every single shot. So like I don't know. So the heroes win.
Yeah.
And then in the oh my god, congratulations. Oh my god, I hope you survive tribal. David talks to Flick about the plan to get out George. And then as the villains walk away, Shawnee throws her idol in Jordy's bag.
And
now, yeah,
Sean has Simon's idol and gives the idol to Flick as well at the same time.
Oh, I thought that was the next episode.
Same challenge, same moment. Happened same
episode. Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Okay, party. I don't remember. It all blends together. Whatever. So we go to the villains, and there's a lot of plans happening. The majority is like, okay, we're gonna split on Jordy and Liz. Jordy and Liz are like, okay, we're gonna play an idol. We're gonna use these idols. We're gonna force. They choose Haley and Nina because they think that they can easily sway Haley and Nina.
When you look at the other people on that tribe, it makes the most sense because you have, what are they calling them? The meat pack or whatever?
The meat pack.
Meat tray. Like
meat tray, yes.
Yeah. Like would you have 4 out of 5 or 6 members of the meat tray on that one tribe, and then you have Haley and Nina, who are very clearly on the outs of the hero majority. If you were to do it like that, that makes the most sense. Also, not to mention that Haley and Nina are probably the 2 most strategic people on the heroes tribe that would be the most willing to like make a plan like that. So sure.
Because I don't think Sam has an ounce of strategy in his bones.
Or Webby.
Mateship.
Mateship, man.
Mateship.
Loyalty.
These are my mates. Oh, God.
Here's a ship. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I'm glad Sam is here because I like looking at him.
I mean, and at least we have that.
Love his tattoos. I love his tattoo. His tattoo is gorgeous. Yeah. Very good on his webby body. But, you know.
Well, and who else? Sean, I think, has some strategic elements to him. Not as high. Who else is on the hero tribe? I don't know anything about David because I don't know anything about David.
We don't know anything about David.
Hey.
I wish we knew things about David.
Episodes in at this point, no confessionals.
We'll talk about it. Oh, we'll discuss. Oh, don't you worry.
Don't we love a purple and the yellow tribe? I think that's really funny.
It is funny.
Honestly, we
very iconic.
I do kind of enjoy that. But yeah, so they go to Haley and Nina and they're like, okay, we have idols. We're safe tonight. Y'all pick a target. And they're both kind of like, Sam?
Sounds good.
Because mateship?
Because he's probably like the least physically strong, like the best or strongest. Like he's the lowest of like the meat trays. Like he's that meat that you kind of like pick at the end of the tray. Or like, well, I guess it's here. I'll eat it if I have to. But like, it's not that good piece of like that you want right away. That's my opinion. Like that's what they see of him.
He's like turkey neck. It's cheap and nobody wants it. Like
it might be okay to eat, but like exactly. Thank you. I was like, I don't know what meat to compare him to.
I was really hoping Logan would get that kimchi reference, but I guess not.
I did.
Oh, icon. But regardless,
I did. I acknowledged it. I just didn't say anything.
But
yes,
the scrambling begins because it's Survivor. Of course, it does. Nina and Haley are like, well, I guess we're going to vote for Sam now. We might as well tell the rest of the boys that we're voting for Sam now. Which choice?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's in the know. And then David's like, oh, well, why don't we just vote for Simon then? Since we know Simon doesn't have an idol now. And, he's not part of our majority, like our actual majority people here. And Sean's like, yeah, but I gave him my word. And then the whole, like, Sean's a hero thing comes into play. And I'm like, homie, you got the idol. Vote him out. Why would you not vote him out at this point for your own majority? But I understand his, like, integrity thing, but I don't appreciate it in the context of the game. It makes boring gameplay.
Well, and I think it's more than like if you vote him out right now, like what the other people who don't want to vote out Simon right now, if you try to like push that, is that being like, what's your best interest? Like what are you self-interested or are you us interested? And that might put a red flag. Which right now, like before merge, it might be good to keep your group mentality think a little higher than your self-interest think.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just a lot of Haley decides to tell all of the meat tray everything, and I don't get it. I do love
like barely. I don't think it was the right call, but I understand her logic of these are the people I'm working with, and if I suddenly vote against them, that could be really suspicious. And
that's very much so how Haley played Brains versus Brawn. So, like, it doesn't surprise me. I do love that David was like, well, then why don't we just vote out Simon? Like, yeah, we promised something, but, like, it's Survivor. And I'm like, show us more of David. I don't think David's gonna, like, win or anything. Based on this edit, he doesn't have a shot in hell. No. But I really, like... Probably. But, like, you can see that he has this propensity for the game. And I really enjoy that. I'm like, more David, please. Yeah. And then Haley goes to tell Simon of the plan. And we get what might be one of my favorite moments ever on Survivor, where Simon is just shocked. And Haley goes, just get your face better.
That's so funny. And Simon's like, what? Huh? What? Oh, sorry, what?
Get your face better. I'm like, I screamed.
That's getting added to the list of Loganisms, isn't it?
I need to pull the screenshot so we have the reaction image. Like, truly, I need it in my life. Just get your face better. Like, honestly, I want to eventually... down the line, I want to do like t-shirt designs with like our favorite quotes on there and everything. And if we do an Australian Survivor one, just get your face better. It's going to be like front and center. Like it has to be. So Haley has told Simon. Simon doesn't get his face better and decides to go to Jordy and is like, so I'm voting for Sam. I'm like, okay, great, cool. Let's figure things out. So then we go to tribal.
Wait, can I had a thought I wanted to bring out. Like,
please, of course.
If you show your idols to people publicly, I feel like you have to commit to it before we get to like when Jordy and Liz show their idols. I feel like, yes, it gains trust and stuff, but if you're gonna do it and actually show proof of it, like I feel like you have to follow through with the plan. That's going into tribal. That's what I just wanted to throw that out there. So anyways, let's move.
The other thing that was interesting to me, though, was that Jordy and Liz were like, look, we'll vote for Sam, but if y'all start whispering at tribal council, we're going to vote for one of you two. Right? And in that moment, because this is the first episode, they gave Nina her like in-depth backstory moment at the beginning of the episode. When they said that, I'm like, oh God, no, Nina's going home, and I'm not happy about it.
I would have cried.
Same.
So we're at tribal. and we're whispering, and
I think
we end up with. Go ahead, Ashley.
the reason why I like this episode so much, this episode in particular, is compared to the last Sunday episode, the greatest tribal ever. Like this one, we can see the strategy play out in our eyes, and we can understand it, and we don't have to go through the haze of the gaslighting. I think this one, because I think it's really important. They're like, okay, stick with Sam, this and that, but then once they get a little think about it a little more, and some of the comments that are made. When Sean is like, okay, maybe we put enough on Jordy so he goes, just in case, just do it that way. We'll fuck around and find out. But I think the strategy of there and them being so willing to be like, okay, we've got to adapt back to this way to get us our best thing. That's why I really like the strategy. Like, not in I think they're trying to call their bluff too, which. Girl, Jordy, why the fuck did you not play your idol? That's what I gotta say about that.
We vote. We're there. We vote, and it's a tie.
Because
between
the whispers and scrambling, Sean was like, "Oh, hey, here's an idea. The four of us, and by the four of us, we mean the meat tray, are gonna put all our votes on Jordy, and then you two still vote with them and vote for Sam in case they do play the idols. And worst case scenario, it's a tie." And I'm like, oh my God, you are fucking brilliant.
Sean here really impressed me. I was thoroughly impressed with this because they vote, no idols are played.
Dumb bitch.
Because Jordy got greedy. Jordy got greedy. That's what it was. And we have a tie. We revote. And if you had told me that the first returning player to be voted out this season was Jordy.
Well, I mean, voted. You're right.
Jackie.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, the first voted out.
Yeah.
Love Jackie. If you had told me that the first returning player voted out this season was Jordy, I would not have believed you at the start of the season.
Steve is right there, right? Steve is right here. What?
Stevie's right there. George is right there. Haley's right there. Simon's right there. I love her to death, but Nina's right there.
And we're like Jordy, and Jordy.
Flick was third place too. Most of these returning players.
Okay, I understand you don't like Flick. Okay, let's move along.
We said let's not bring it
up. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later.
I anyway. Think Jordy played himself a little bit. He had the idol. I've gone out in games where I have an idol in my pocket. I'm like, I'm a dumb. Why didn't I do it? Yes, you want to keep your idol to a cute move, but you need to be in the game to have a cute move. Girl, I'm sorry.
Can't relate. I've never been voted out of the game with an idol.
I have.
I've only ever gotten an idol twice.
Oh, well.
Twice.
Jordy's exit line broke my heart in the
when he's about his son.
Yeah, he said, "I'm gonna go watch my little boy grow up," and I'm like, hey.
I love that for so many reasons. He found out he was having a little boy on Survivor, and then he gets to go watch it both of it. It's just so and he's just gonna be a great dad. I just have a feeling I'm so excited for him, but sad.
I left Blood versus Water with a really interesting opinion on Jordy. I didn't know how to necessarily feel about Jordy, and I'm very happy I got to see more of Jordy because I really do genuinely enjoy Jordy as a person from what we've seen and as a player. I think he's really, you know what? If there was going to be a second 3-time Australian Survivor player, I would love to have it be Jordy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he understands how to play. This showing showed he was willing to be strategic, a little less goofy, and he was really wanted to come and play. Circumstantially, he just got bad on a bad tribe swap. His allies were a little chaotic for him, which, I mean, he's chaotic as well, but he just got a bad draw. But I think he showed a lot in the first 10 episodes. He had a good showing.
Very much.
Yeah, I agree. So Jordy's gone. We move to episode 11, and Shawnee's idol is gone.
And Shawnee is not gonna be happy because I'd be mad. My
Shawnee is not thrilled.
No, Nora, no, you shouldn't be. She shouldn't have given you the idol in the first place. Nor keep that bad boy for yourself, Shawnee. No one knew you had it. Anyways,
Well,
I could go.
other than George, but no, she had two. I forgot.
She had two.
Pardon me.
She played one already.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, knowing how much the producers love Shawnee, they're gonna plant another idol for her post-merge. We all know that's gonna happen. Great, cool.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I love Shawnee so much.
Mood.
So before the next challenge, we see on the hero side, we see Flick and Matt, the duo, trying to bring Stevie over to their side, a la the plan that was communicated in the last one, following his destiny. But Flick is still like, well, I don't know if I should tell Ben about my idol because I have an idol, but it's not a real idol, but she doesn't know that it's not a real idol. God, this episode was wild.
I wish she had. I just wish she had.
She thought she had a real idol, and I said, okay, girly pop, go off. The hero's dynamic at this point in episode 11 is very much so. It's a 3-3, but then on the Flick and Matt side, it's honestly a 2-1 because they don't trust Ben, but he just happens to be on their side with Stevie in the middle. Icky. And the villains are what the villains are now.
See, as much as I don't like some of the things that George has said and done, I was low-key rooting for the villains on this tribe because I cannot stand the rhetoric that has went around about Asian players on this cast. It has so much. Part of the reason I don't like it because, look, I understand that, yes, Ben did play an idol and did take up whatever. But, like, that makes someone, to use a direct quote here, shifty? Like, no, that's not okay. And because we're getting to the point now where we are calling these things out more often, but we really don't talk about it when it comes to Asian players very often because, quite frankly, we don't get that many Asian players on cast ever,
And to add on to that, and like we've talked about it on prior episodes, and obviously you weren't here for those.
Oh yeah.
Flick isn't we've talked about Flick saying that she's not the only one that has. About half the heroes have. Sam has at one point, Sean has at one point, Matt has at one point. So I understand you calling Flick out in this specific moment. I just want to also acknowledge, like,
oh, for sure,
most of the people here have.
Well, and to be fair, they said the same thing about Stevie in the first couple episodes too.
Oh yeah.
Like
everyone, they said it about Stevie. They said it about Anjali. They said it about oh no, what is her name?
Mimi.
Mimi, thank you. Love you, Mimi. They said it about Mimi and they said it about Ben. And like it's one of those just very unfortunate things. And I'm not here to defend Flick necessarily for those comments because what she said was not okay. I'm just also acknowledging as well that she's not the only one saying it. And if we're going to acknowledge her for saying it, I want to also continue to acknowledge everybody else who's saying it.
Oh, for sure. But this particular instance, it was flicking Matt, and it's making me irritated because one time you could chalk it up to, okay, maybe this one particular player is being a bit shady. You shouldn't call them shifty either way, but like maybe they're being a little bit like covert and a little bit like snake-like.
Strategic?
Yeah, for sure. But
we literally, I don't remember when we recorded week 2 and week 3 in the same recording session, so I don't remember what video it was, Ashley. But we talked about, like, I went on a rant and I was like, there are 1,000 other words you could use to describe these people. And it's genuinely frustrating that we are still, and it's very evident with Asian players, we are still calling them shifty. And that's not exclusively for Australian Survivor. I've seen it on Big Brother Australia. I've seen it on other international franchises of shows. And I've seen it domestically as well. I mean, we're all American. So I've seen it domestically, British, Canadian, Australian, South African. Like, we see it everywhere. So it's just a really unfortunate thing.
When they actually have Asian players. I mean, look, we're at the point now where we have had, Yule, I believe, is the last Asian US survivor. I could be wrong, and I might be forgetting someone.
Winner.
I think Yule's the only one. Period.
Natalie.
Which Natalie? Oh, yeah, Natalie Anderson.
Natalie Anderson.
Yeah, my apologies. But Natalie,
oh no, you're fine.
Yeah, Natalie and Yule are the only two, and other than that I can think of at least. And when we've had 43 seasons, I might be forgetting people. But
Erica.
Oh yeah, Erica did just win, didn't she? God, I blocked 41 out of my mind.
A couple seasons ago. Don't worry. There have been a couple seasons since, but yeah. No, I mean, what you're saying is still very, very true. I mean, there are only, I think, 3. I want to say it's 3. I can't think of any other Asian winners of American Survivor. Mm-hmm. Let alone, I mean, there's only one Asian winner of Australian Survivor. Mm-hmm. In Jericho. So love Jericho. But yeah, it's just one of those frustrating things. And we're gonna keep calling it out because we're real. Yeah.
I mean, we did it for a long time, especially when we're talking about Big Brother, because Big Brother had a race problem to this day.
Still does.
I mean, we're talking about. I mean, now we're at the point where, we're getting to a point where it's becoming easier because of the race, the POC casting initiative. But even then, it's still not even, and it's still not great. And
BB24 is a great example of why it's still not great.
Because we see Derek DX being the only Asian representation. That's
was there any on BB24?
Other than, I mean, depends on if you count Middle Easterners, African, or Asian. If you count Joseph,
but
other than that, no.
Depends on the definition.
Yeah, because other than Joseph,
but even then, he was an alternate.
Yeah, he was an alternate. Before then, there was none.
So,
dude. Also, quick note, Marvin, you are getting around, my dude. You've been on the Circle, American Got Talent, almost on Big Brother.
No. He's not on Big Brother Niger anymore. He got evicted, and gladly, I'm glad he got evicted.
I don't keep up. I just saw the Twitter discourse about it.
I saw a tweet where it said he got evicted, and I said, "Good, bye, sorry, next." So we go to the villains. We did the heroes. We're going over to villains, and Simon. Okay, Ashley, I understand that you have a deep love for Simon Mee. This crying that happened, bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it as I see it. I didn't believe it, if I'm being honest.
I'm trying to
They're crying over Jordy.
No, I believe it. They're friends outside of the game.
Sure.
And I think they build a connection. I think the fact that he lost the trust of Jordy from that, and then he had to leave after that. I think there's a lot of build up. I believe it. I mean, I also know Simon's a super genuine person, even though he's coming off as a villain at it. He cares about people. So I mean, I believe those are real and genuine because him and Jordy have hung out outside. Here's the thing. Most of the cast has hung out with any of the returners around, and they've had this amount of time to relate and become people. And then when you sit on the beach for how many days, having
23, I think at this point.
Yeah. I've played orgs where I play that long and I've cried over people I met literally starting of the thing. And I've cried. So I get it. I'm also a deeply emotional human. It's I don't know. I could see it, but anyways, you can see it too.
It's not that I didn't believe it. It's that I feel there's a little bit of putting it on. If I'm being honest. And it's just I didn't feel it was 100% genuine, but I do know that Simon is a very emotional person. So I'm not. That came out wrong when I said it initially. I didn't believe it. I don't believe the whole act.
Okay,
Let's say that.
That's fair.
And we get our good, lovely, wonderful Nina segment. It's time for Nina segment. And I loved it. I mean, seeing Sandra on my screen again, I was just happy.
Always.
I need Nina everything. Like Nina every day of the week.
I need Nina on Celebrity Big Brother would be fun.
Nina on freaking Claim to Fame.
Oh, could you imagine?
They would vote her. They would clock her. No, actually.
People don't watch Australian Survivor.
No. I mean, unless there's an Australian person there.
Nah, not likely. They wouldn't cast someone that
Nina
set her up.
On Claim to Fame. I'm just saying.
That would be interesting.
Get it on Twitter. Let's start the campaign.
I love that. But she doesn't want to play a very cruisy game. She is literally in Samoa where her mother won Heroes versus Villains. And so she wants to play the damn game. And I'm like, good, I'm glad. So she goes, oh, Liz is by herself on an island? Nope, I'm gonna go scoop her up. And it becomes the new majority, which is Liz, Nina, Sean,
no,
and Dave. No,
Sam, not Sean.
Oh, it is Sam. Whatever.
It would have been better if it was David.
It would have been better if it. Well, David was in it.
If it was Sean, I think. Yeah. Whatever.
All the white men look the same. Dave. So this also, David gets confessionals. David gets a confessional.
11 episodes. 11 episodes. Break that land speed record. Let's go.
Literally 11 episodes in, and he has a confessional, and I'm happy to see it personally. Yeah. So the new majority: Sam, Nina, Liz, David, against the what? Simon, Haley,
Sean.
The white men look the same. They really just.
One's like stretched out.
It doesn't help that none of them have been given any confessional time out to distinguish.
And all of their names start with S except for David.
No, I know. They're like, they do love to cast S names in Australian Survivor, though. Shawnee.
They like to cast 4 white men whose names all start with the same letter.
There are a lot of S names on this cast now that you mention it. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie, Shawnee,
Sam.
Oh, here I have. Hold on, I have it up. Sam, Sean, Shawnee, Simon, Stevie, Sharney, and Sarah. There were 7.
Jesus H. Christ. That's a lot. That is.
Remember Sarah?
Oh, she pushed.
You remember?
Yep.
You remember her purple edit? You remember purple
Sarah?
Yes,
and I was sad about it.
She got Chelsea, like straight up Chelsea. No freaking screen time until the episode she got booted. Lame.
That's tea.
Yeah.
So that's Australia for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. So we go to the immunity challenge. The heroes have found out that Jordy is gone, and George says that this is a declaration of war. And I'm just like, George, can we calm down for a second, George? George?
Honestly, like, I felt like such a childhood kindergartner exchange in the playground. Oh, yeah.
You voted out my friend.
Tell us what happened, Simon. Well, I don't know what happened. Well, obviously you don't know what happened. Like, it felt very like.
Oh no, that's next episode. We haven't made it there yet.
Never mind.
But like,
I can't wait for that episode.
I'm just.
Oops.
Am I the only person who's just getting aggravated with the entertainment value that is being brought by George?
Because, oh no, I hate George.
Oh, you are in a call of non-George fans.
The thing is, I'm not even I don't hate him. I don't have enough energy to hate him. I'm just like, when something becomes repetitive, right? Like, to the point of, I just have apathy. I'm apathetic. Like, cool, you're extra. I get it. But like, Debbie is extra in an entertaining way. Why am I not entertained here?
The only
Did you watch Brains versus Brawn?
I did not watch Brains versus Brawn.
That's why.
You're lucky.
That's why.
Oh.
That's why. Honestly, I'm gonna chalk it up to that. Those of us that suffered through a whole other season of George, yeah, it's just.
Well, this is my first season of Aussie. So,
work. Okay.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
yeah.
welcome.
Which is why I don't know literally anything about anyone, and I still have minor fandom of people that are problematic, apparently. But
Yeah.
because Logan was talking to me like, "Oh my god, Jackie was such a queen." I'm like, "Sure, I bet she was."
Jackie is an icon, and I love her.
She deserved better, so much better, and I'll
So
keep
much
saying
better.
it.
Can we get an all newbie? Can we get an all newbie cast and Jackie?
Yeah, honestly, she'd blend in. I think so.
Yeah.
Let's do it next
Didn't they
season.
do
On the season. Well, what was the season where they had the captains? Was that Redemption Island?
Was that Ozzy and
Redemption Island, South Pacific, both of the same casting thing of like Ozzy and Coach was South
Oh
Pacific.
no, I'm thinking South Pacific.
Yeah.
Ozzy and Coach have the captains be Jackie and I don't know.
Oh, who's random? We are random like guy. How about
I know. I was like, I'm trying to think of a random guy.
Like Garrett?
Con.
Oh, okay.
Con's
better.
Wait, who did you say?
I said Garrett or something. Like I think the guy with the bright yellow shorts from Rain's Brawn. Is that not Garrett?
Oh, he's random. No, I like Con.
So
Let's do Jackie and Con. Jackie and Con. I love it.
Name.
Anyway, we go to this names. We have to catch you up. Brook is what I'm learning here. We go to the immunity challenge, and guess what? George throws it.
Oh, not only does he throw it, he does this fucking like pushing motion, but he's not in pushing a block. Also, this is one of my favorite immunity comps in the history of the show, right?
Oh.
The puzzle staircase, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because, okay, one, this is from Heroes versus Villains, and it's an iconic challenge there. Two, Nina becomes the second Twine to win this challenge in Survivor. Yep. Icon. But thirdly, and most importantly, this combines the physical, the mental, and a little bit of endurance. It's a very balanced challenge across the board, and I appreciate that. Also, it's very funny watching them try to climb up the giant stairs when they're short. But I say as a short person myself. Regardless, very, very entertaining challenge today. I was very, very happy about it.
That's one thing I think that we've talked about before, but I'll always talk about is how I like Australian Survivor challenges, because it gives you elements of everything, and there's always a puzzle to equalize at the end, or something at the end to help equalize your strong brawny-ish shit. Whereas, like, I'm not brawny, but if I can get a puzzle real quick, maybe I'll have a chance to win it. You know,
that part. So yeah, George and Heroes throw it. Villains win. Cool. Party.
Not party.
Party. We go back to camp, and obviously it's the 3-3 split. What I want to talk about is the neuroses of Stevie, because he has now become the swing vote somehow, and he's trying to appease both sides, and he goes to the Shawnee, Jerry. Oh yeah, Jerry's still here. I like Jerry. The Shawnee, Jerry, George side, and is like, well, why can't we put 3 votes on Flick and 1 vote on Ben? And just trying to explain, Stevie, that's just going to cause the same thing that we're already doing. We're just going to have to vote again. And then later, when he goes, well, why can't we put 2 votes on Ben and 3 votes on Flick? And I'm like, where is this 5th vote coming from? And then Shawnee's like, Stevie is trying to pull a crab into our alliance as this 5th vote. Like, what is happening?
You know,
I'm just
I will admit, I think it is very dumb of the Villains Alliance to not try to pull Ben in here.
Yeah.
Okay, because one, this guy has been on the bottom of the heroes basically since the beginning. And the other reason being, Ben is not loyal to them long term if he doesn't have to be. Like, he's voting right now out of necessity. Like, if you give him anything, he will come with you. And he can be a number for you, even if it's just for the one vote. You could have split between Matt and Flick at this vote out whoever you want with Ben on your side, and then once they're gone, then you can split between the other two the next vote. Like
if Ben is in this, there's 5 votes, then exactly, you can do exactly what you just said, but it's like, I don't understand why Stevie is still here. If I'm being really honest and brutal, I don't.
They think he's an easy number to pull.
Exactly. He's a loyal number that isn't going to be a threat at the end game in terms of comps.
Mateship.
Let's go mateship. But then they're trying to pitch to Stevie look, George is this massive threat, and if George makes it further, George is gonna clean sweep at the end because he survived this whole thing with this massive target on his back. And I'm like, y'all, what did we just talk about with the tunnel vision? Okay, I understand that George is a target, that George is annoying, yada yada yada. I get it. Pivot, literally pivot.
But here's the thing. On his first season, everyone was tunnel vision and then said, oh, there's an easier target to take out. We'll do that. And George just slid right to the end.
Quite literally in the grass, sneaking around,
Quite literally. And obviously there was production interference because they love George. But that's exactly what happened. And so for me, honestly, I would love a little bit of tunnel vision. If there is a real, genuine, thought out plan to take out George, I would like to see it happen.
Oh, for sure.
It's probably not, and he's gonna probably make Final Tribal again. But
that's the thing. None of these plans have been well thought out because it's been single mind focus of we have a majority, we can get George out, right? When we have seen, like him or not, which I'm not a fan, but look at some of the things he's done. He is very good at weaseling his way out of situations. We all saw the Fraser Tribal. We know what happened there.
Yeah.
And as annoying as it is, he's playing the game remarkably well. He's been able to pivot between groups of people and control votes basically the entire season. So now also he would have went home on the first Tribal Council if he hadn't been injured. But
God, I wish he was at Tribal Council. I hate that rule so much at night. We'll stand by that. But I mean, I think to your credit, he is a good player. I just cannot stand how he plays the game. Good player, hate the put into action. But yeah, no, I mean, and it's so interesting. They do keep going for people, but I think George is definitely someone you need to get merge and get a number of people once they get annoyed by him. That's when they should do it. That's my idea. I would have loved him first boot, but I guess merge is fine, and he can be on the jury being annoying. But I don't know. I just don't.
But then, so at this point, it's basically the Villains Alliance has decided they're going to put their votes on Ben because they don't think that Flick would play the idol on Ben. And then the other 3 are like, hey, Stevie, you're going to vote with us to vote out George, right? And he says, sure. So that's their plan. And then Tribal Council.
God help us all.
And this Tribal Council was awful. I hated every minute of it.
It wasn't good.
No.
George straight up tells Flick to throw her idol in the fire. Mind you, knowing what we know, I'm like, Flick, do it, girl. Flick, just do it. It's fine. Because guess what? Your idol actually means nothing. But no, she decides it's not a risk she's willing to take, which, you know what? Valid. Given the information she knows at that moment, valid. However, Oh boy, we go to vote, and she plays the idol for Matt, but it's not a real idol.
You're like, well, we all knew that.
Can
We
I-
weren't
can I-
shocked.
We all,
Can I finish the sentence?
please.
She plays the idol, not a real idol. Stevie is loyal to George, and unfortunately, the most strategic hero in this game that is not named Nina Twine or Haley League, and arguably the only real competitive threat to George on this tribe is voted out in Ben, which, God damn it, this hurt, because Ben has been the only like sunshine spot other than Shawnee on this tribe for me of people that have just been entertaining and consistently playing the game as best as they can. And I'm irritated.
Yeah.
Also, he's very nice to look at, so there's that too.
Yes.
And I wish, in retrospect of this episode, that Flick would have shown Ben the idol, quote unquote idol. So they could have been like, yo, girly pop, that's not real. Like, I found that's just a clue. And then maybe they could have formulated to try to like get literally anyone else than Ben. But c'est la vie, Flick is a stubborn little Flick, so and did what she wanted. So I don't know. R.I.P.
I'm bitter. I'm sorry. Like, why get in
Yeah.
this with the tribal council and like, we're gonna offer you the opportunity to mutiny? Why couldn't it have been this one?
Because
Because they
Haley-
didn't value Ben.
Because Haley wasn't potentially going. Spoiler for next episode. Because Haley or Simon wasn't going to the people their storylines. That's why.
Yeah, because
we'll talk about that.
So they only throw production twists when Haley, Simon, George, or Shawnee is about to get voted out.
Yeah,
Just as like a fair warning.
yeah,
That's gonna
be
happen.
when they're in their season of top 4 or season like who they
Welcome
want
to
be.
Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I
Yeah.
know, but still irritating.
So we're in episode 12 now. And we start out at the heroes. Obviously, we have Shawnee, George, Stevie, and Jerry working together. But then George decides, I'm going to think a few moves ahead. Flick didn't want my deal. Okay, cool, whatever. Hey, Matt, what do you think? And Matt is like, yeah, okay, maybe.
Don't say no to a deal. That's what I'd be like. Oh,
No.
yeah, absolutely, I'll go with you. And then I go, well, we'll turn if it's not good. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
We also gotta mention Flick like pissed and saying that Simon intentionally tricked her and all this other mess. And I'm like, girl, do you really think he would be that dumb? Like, I understand the initial gut reaction to be like, well, that's shitty. He gave me a fake idol. I get it. But what purpose would that serve him when he gave you the idol? Australian Survivor has shown they do not care about cross-tribal communication at challenges. They don't care, right? So,
Yeah.
what's going to happen if he gives you a fake idol? Even if you go home, right? Matt and Ben are both there, and we have seen at minimum Ben is willing to just put all of his cards on the table if he has to. Like, sure, maybe he did it whatever nefarious because he's a villain. Oh my god! But like, really.
Well, I don't necessarily know that Flick like has any sort of basis for not like thinking that way. Like, she really has no relationship with him, so it's like, oh, he did all of this as a ploy to like make me and Sean look, because Sean and Flick are very, very close. And so in her mind, she's probably thinking, oh, he constructed this whole thing to make both of us look bad in the eyes of the other heroes. So like, I do understand it. I mean, it was entertaining, so I don't mind. Because then we go to the challenge and
Wait.
Yeah.
We're back to the last tribal. Did Flick vote for George? Or who did they
Yes,
vote
I
for?
believe.
So that's like the 7th.
No,
or
they
8th.
voted for Jerry.
Okay,
They voted
well,
for Jerry.
That's right. I couldn't remember who was split on. But
Mhm.
Flick has incorrectly voted for George like 6 times in her career. So like it's just something that Flick will do is always be never win against George. Anyways, I just thought about that.
Very Quentin on the trade away. But
Mhm.
it's aggravating because the thing is I'm not even a big Simon fan. I think he's like fine. I don't have a negative or positive opinion on him, but I just hate it when people get into this mindset of like, oh, obviously they did this to make me look bad. Like, obviously, because I'm this like amazing third place contestant on my first season. You wanted to make me look bad before all this. That's how it came across, and it was icky, and I did not like it, and I don't like Flick.
I understand what you're saying. I will also acknowledge you didn't watch Flick's first season.
Mm-hmm.
And on that season, I will say Flick is a phenomenal game player, in my personal opinion.
She has a very underdog story.
Yeah. And like there's a lot of personal stuff that was acknowledged during Brains versus Brawn that makes me a little bit more like akin to her. I understand what you're saying. I'm just also acknowledging like it sounds like I'm out here like as a Flick defender. She's not my favorite person in the world, but like she's a much better game player than what she has shown so far. And similar things to the Simon situation happened on her first season. So I understand why she's going about everything the way that she is.
I also, like in Flick, not even strategic, her storyline in her first season, like she makes it to the final 4 or 5. This is a spoiler. And her mom literally dies when she's out in the outback. And so it's like for me, like and her mom had Alzheimer's, which like Alzheimer's fucking sucks. It's been in my family. So like I really connected with her in that moment where I'm like, so I have like a soft spot, even though she might not be doing amazing. So I mean that's just backstory though, and that's hard if you haven't seen it. Like I get it.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, again, I am coming at this from limited perspective here, especially on these returning players. Like, I have no information outside of, like, the limited amount of clips of Aussie Survivor I've seen before this and what has been shown on the season. So if there is other things to take into account, please remember if you are looking at this that I don't know what these other things are to take into account, just my limited perspective. But based on the limited perspective I have seen on Flick, it felt very like jump the gun cocky to me.
Valid. Yeah, no. For sure. Yeah, so we go to the reward and Flick is just like, so Simon gave Sean a fake idol to give to me. And everyone, Simon included, is just like, what? I'm sorry.
I thought it was real. What?
And then, and Simon genuinely was not aware that this was happening. It's like a whole thing. Whatever. It's a meme at this point. I love it.
Do we need to talk about the George Simon moment because it has been kind of dominating Twitter?
I don't care enough, if I'm being really honest.
See, I've muted the tag on Twitter because of that, but like no, I have heard, and I think like I mentioned this earlier. This is what I alluded to incorrectly. Like I feel like Simon didn't know, and so that's such a genuine reaction. And they're like, you're bullshitting us. Like, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. What are your thoughts? What?
Oh, I don't remember. We go to reward, and it's climb over a net and throw a ring at a tall pole.
I mean, it was fun to see strategies. People were a little not cutthroat, a little cutthroat, a little like let's throw your
a little.
Simon and Georgie were like,
okay. I want to talk about the Simon and George in the challenge because, like, sure, throw the ring, whatever. What pissed me off is then when so George obviously throws Simon's first. Simon then throws George's, and Stevie is like, no, Simon, play fair. I'm like, fuck off, Stevie.
He did it first, right? Like,
he literally did it first. Go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, what?
No, absolutely not.
No.
I think all is fair in love and war. If something was wrong, JLP's like, fuck off, don't do it, change it. They've done that in the past. We're like, that's not against the rules, or that is against the rules.
Literally.
Don't do it. But yes, George did it first. Did Simon kick his ass and catch up? Yes. Like, let's go. Like, karma came out and prevailed. IMO. But like, I don't know. It's all fair in love and war. If one gets to do it, why shouldn't the other?
Yeah.
It was also a really hot challenge to watch again. Real hot.
Men in Speedos in water. Yes.
And Sam actually swimming, like literally like swimming, like girl.
Oh, I thought that was Matt.
Was it? One of the two white boys.
It was Matt.
It was Matt, the lifeguard.
Matt's the lifeguard.
Okay, I just loved when it was like, I was like, girl.
Oh yeah, he's fully like swimming through this like maybe 2 feet of water.
No, right. I was like, okay, get it, girl.
To be fair, who has done lifeguard training before, right? That is actually significantly faster than wading through it.
Oh yeah.
But like, it was a little extra. I'll give him that.
Yeah. To no one's surprise whatsoever.
You know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Villains win. The 1 point is scored by the heroes, coming from Stevie of all people, with no glasses. He beat an Olympian. He beats an Olympian.
I did think it was funny when he went over the net where he like stuck his head through the wing.
Oh, fully? That's what I would have done.
That's actually really smart though too, because you don't have to waste the time of like grabbing the idol and holding the ring.
Oh, it's genius.
Yeah.
Oh, it's genius. I loved it. So the villains win a Chinese buffet. Love it. Wonderful.
Isn't Chinese generally like infamously like, is it a good reward or a bad reward? Because it's a bunch of rice. I remember that always being like from the start.
Oh yeah. Like, I think that this one looked a little bit more substantial. I will never shy away from Chinese food. Let me make that very, very clear.
But
it's also free food, and even if you're just getting a new bag of rice on Survivor, take that bag of rice and be thrilled. Like,
the other thing, as you've probably noticed, Brooke, is there's a lot more rewards on this season because it's 54 days.
Yeah. Wait, it's double with American, basically.
Yeah. So it's quite literally now double the American version.
Wait, is it? So today's vote, this episode's vote is day 25, right?
Yeah.
If this is the U.S. season, they would literally
be voting. It would be final. It would be final 4.
Yeah.
It's so
Isn't
wild.
That fucking crazy, and they haven't even made merge yet. They haven't made
probes. Get your crap together, my dude.
And this is.
I don't know. I like the 26-day season.
I would like it more if we didn't get rid of all my reward challenges.
That part. So the only thing of note before we dive into the immunity challenge is that Sean is now like, oh, so the idol was fake? Cool. Deal with Simon's off. Let's throw the challenge so we can get rid of Simon.
It's a really good idea, though.
Cue the producers.
A smart idea, too.
Okay.
Well, because we know that if the heroes win immunity, heroes lose immunity, it's either going to be Flick or Matt. And for Sean's game, he needs them more than he needs Simon. And, I mean, Liz has an idol, right? So you're not going to vote Liz out. So get rid of Simon. Why not? It's one less villain to worry about. Even though the whole hero strong thing is really icky, and I hate it by definition.
I hate a side-by-side warfare after a while. I like them to mix it up. Like, it's fun to watch, like, side versus side until it gets, like, boring. And then I'm like, change it up. Do something better.
Change your costume. Change it around.
This is my first episode of Survivor anything on the pod, so I don't know if I've ever got to publicly disclose this. My 2 favorite seasons of Survivor are Philippines and Cambodia, right? And both of those seasons have a lot of, like, changing of alliances and a lot of fluid movement, interesting,
Okay.
if you will. And I really want this season to get that, but I know it won't. Like, once we hit the merge, it is going to be pagong, 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 and I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. So we go to the immunity challenge. The villains have decided they're going to throw the challenge. And it's honestly, they kind of lucked out because it's a pretty easy challenge to throw because it's the memory line challenge. And yeah, the heroes win pretty handily.
Liz did score a point though. Icon.
Like,
I loved seeing Shawnee versus Liz. I was like,
like how bad was it thrown? Like, how obviously bad was it thrown? Like, that's my question. Did it feel
Simon
real or
knew.
no? Yeah.
I think once Haley went and Haley didn't win a point, I think it was at that point that George turned to Shawnee and it was like, they're throwing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the point. I do honestly think had the villains actually played the challenge, I still think the heroes win.
Maybe.
Because I think the combination, I think George, Shawnee in a different scenario, because Shawnee is good at memory challenges. I think Jerry would have won a point. I think if Flick had gotten up there, I think Flick would have gotten one.
Well,
so I think it's closer, but I do still think that the heroes win.
Well, we saw Liz win her point, so take that out of the equation. I feel like Nina probably beats Jerry just because she was moving faster, and
probably,
that could have been close. Haley probably could have won too. So if we go based off that, it could have went either way, honestly. But it's going to be much more interesting anytime the villains lose a tribal council in the swap right now, just because the gameplay on the villains tribe is so much more fluid than the heroes tribe. So I was happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
As long as Nina Twine doesn't go home, I don't care.
Well, she's not currently safe, but we'll talk about her very shortly. And we're here. So we go back to the villains tribe, and the plan as it is discussed originally is to split the votes between Simon and Liz. And the plan to Simon is that they're going to tell Simon they're voting for Sam in case of idols. Great, cool, lovely, whatever. Nina says, I don't know about this plan. And tells Sean, or tells Sam.
Okay.
Webby.
I know which white man I'm talking about this time.
Let's go, Webby.
Nina tells Sam that Sean has thrown him under the bus as a backup plan idea. So Sam is like, mateship? No mateship.
No loyalty.
Nina, no loyalty.
Oh,
so Nina, while Sam is there, concoct the idea of blindsiding Haley.
It was iconic. I can't even be mad. Like,
I low-key wish it happened. We'll talk about it.
Okay, but real talk, it would have probably happened too.
It would have happened. It would have happened. It would have happened. And as much as I love Haley, I would have lived for this moment.
True, especially because Nina Twine is a goddess, and she.
Oh God! If Nina was the one to take out Haley,
mother. But so we get to tribal council, right? And the first thing that happens, Simon's asked Jonathan like, what he actually found, like what he thought the idol was, and then Jonathan's like, no, it was a clue. I'm like, I
love that Jonathan actually like was able to tell them, because I'm pretty sure that Simon's clue was for Shawnee's idol that Jordy walked out with.
That would be the only way it would work, unless it was.
Because I'm pretty sure Shawnee found it under a coconut. So I'm like pretty sure, and I think there was some editing that kind of showed that, and maybe I didn't realize it. And I'm pretty sure that's why JLP was able to say that, because the idol was already out of the game. Because normally, if the idol's still in the game, I don't think he's able to say that. Because I'm pretty sure he is also an executive producer on the show beyond being host. I don't remember exactly. I think he is.
I will look.
But yeah. So JLP is like, yeah, it was supposed to be a clue. I fully thought it was a planted fake idol. Honestly.
That's whatever to me. He is also not an executive producer, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. I hate the idea of production providing clarity on something like this. And I understand that, he was kind of in a tight spot there and he couldn't really, either he says what it is and then it's just common knowledge of what it was, or it's, something that you just have to keep quiet about, whatever. But I don't know. I've always been of the opinion that the more production gets involved in anything, the worse the season gets. And I really hope this doesn't become a recurring pattern of stuff like this on shows like this.
I've never seen Jonathan do anything like this that I can remember. Ashley, I don't know if you can think of any moments like this.
I've never seen him explain. We're talking about the idol, but not idols. Yeah. No, I've never seen that happen. Australian Survivor. So I think yes, while I understand why he said it, like it probably, because there's times where people are just playing stupid, playing dumb in a game, and we're like me, as like if I'm helping on a production, I'm like, I want to tell them, but maybe they're just acting dumb or trying to lower their threat level, or maybe they full well know, or it's like a strategy. So if I say something that fucks up their strategy, that's kind of where my brain is at. So
the only other I can think of ever happening something similar on a Survivor season was Game Changers with the extra vote or steal a vote or whatever thing, Sarah Suri Michaela thing. But
that was when it was played.
Yeah, that was also when it was played. It was common knowledge. It had been brought up, and Suri would have broken the rules of the advantage if she had played it. That made sense to me. That's something that kind of had to be publicly disclosed. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of this kind of thing, but I get it.
I think as well, and Ashley, I don't know if you heard when I was talking about it. I'm pretty sure that the clue for that, the idol for that clue was Shawnee's idol that Jordy walked out with.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I don't think JLP would have said anything had it not been that idol. So I think that's what it was. I do understand completely what you're saying, Brooke. But I think that's probably why it happened. Regardless, nothing really ends up majorly happening here because they actually don't vote anyone out, and instead we have a mutiny for some reason.
And I had a feeling something like this was going to happen when, as soon as Haley became in the mix of a name, I was like, no one's going home this episode. It just, there was no, like, for me in the edit where I'm like, none of these are viable options. It's not going to happen. So I knew it was going to be either like a steal or a this or a that. Some one of the twists that they've done in the past. And a mutiny has happened. So here we are.
Every season, I think. Usually it's not a vote though, which I thought the vote was honestly superfluous. Like I didn't think it was necessary.
No. Did they do one in for season 1 with Nick? They steal Nick with a vote, I believe.
They voted for Nick.
Oh, the other team did.
I believe they voted for Nick.
Got you. So it's like the opposite of what we did here.
Wait, is Nick the moral high ground guy? The one that made the moral high ground speech at Final Tribal? That because I feel okay.
No, that's Lee.
That's Lee.
The person it was aimed at I thought Nick was the one that made the speech, said the speech. Because I've seen that Final Tribal. Because Christy Bennett's.
I haven't watched season 1 of Australian in 2 years, so I honestly couldn't tell you.
The only reason I know about that is because Christy Bennett is a beautiful goddess, and she should be.
Did you, Brooke? Were you aware? Brooke, were you aware that Christy was supposed to be on this season?
Yeah, I know. I was very sad when I heard she got dropped last minute.
Yeah, when I saw
I thought we knew who replaced her.
I think it was Simon. But like
I thought it was Sarah.
oh, like for women wise, but for returners, I thought that could be.
Well, no, because they started with a returner imbalance. There were only 11 returners.
So yeah, they couldn't have because I knew Simon was a
I think it was Sarah or Sharni. I think were the two I've heard about. Because I think they wanted to replace. Ideally, she would have been replaced by a female returner.
Yeah.
But I don't think they had any more
days before they're flying out. So they're like, call in an alt. Let's go. Like,
yeah.
Whoever it was,
anyway,
they're not Christy Bennett.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate outcome here. Mm-hmm. Well, which tribe had more returners on it, though?
Villains, I think.
Okay, so it's probably on the.
I can
could have been on the Heroes tribe. Though,
I can tell you really quick. Hold on. Jackie, Jordy, George, Shawnee, Simon, and Stevie. Yeah. So the villains were 6 and 6.
Yeah. So then it was probably would make the more.
It was Sean, Sam, Nina, Haley, and Flick.
Yeah.
Are the only So it was Heroes had 5 and 7, and then Villains had 6 and 6.
Oh my God! Was it freaking Paige? If Paige replaced Christy?
No, I don't think it was. Well, they always have someone. They always have someone of Paige's archetype on the show. So I think Paige was a lock. I think it was likely Sharni or maybe Sarah.
Yeah, well, one of the lower key.
Oh wait, no, Sarah's a villain. Never mind. No, it must have been Sharni.
Rogue, one of the 3.
It wasn't Rogue.
It could have been Rogue.
Rogue would never be an alternate. She's too good for the world. I'm always number 1. You couldn't have put me as an alternate. That was sarcastic.
Well, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are also 6 women, so it was probably Sharni.
Makes sense, but
anyway,
whoever it was.
They're already out probably. We do a vote for some reason for Mutiny. Are we surprised? Liz goes back to the Spice Girls. Liz goes to Heroes. Whatever.
Well, and it was a thing where if you didn't want to go, don't put your name down. And she's like, "Yep, I'm the only one." Okay, cool, bye.
Who else so if there was one person, they automatically go. If it's more than one person, you draw rocks. If no one does it, you draw rocks. I thought that was an interesting twist to it.
If it was more than if anybody, it was all the people that wrote their name down would draw rocks, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching it, I was thinking like, if it were me and I wanted to cause some chaos, right? If more than one person wrote their name down, I would just be like, I'm gonna write my name down too, and make everybody draw rocks and just see what happens. But I just hate how this season feels so rigged for George.
Oh,
like
trust. This is just how it is. Sorry, love. This is just how it is.
We're desensitized. That's a fucking hard word by now.
I've watched 7 other seasons of Australian Survivor to know that this is just how it is every season. They pick someone.
I am just so excited to finally wait for South Africa. But regardless.
Anyway, so we are now officially halfway through Australian Survivor.
And next week is
Merge Week. Though the first episode of the week is not Merge, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's
why would they do a mutiny right before a merge?
Because they're dumb.
To cause drama.
Well, to be fair, they did do the whole send Lil and Burton back to their own tribes on Pearl Islands before the merge.
They did a similar thing on South Africa this last season too.
Icon.
Yeah, but that's that. We'll be back with week 5. So, in the meantime, check out all of our other Australian Survivor coverage. We've got US Survivor starting next week.
Wednesday.
Good Lord Jesus Christ, give me strength.
This is the hardest time. The Survivor season truly never ends when you're an international Survivor fan. There's like a 3-day
And
Give me a break.
Drag Race is worse. Drag Race is worse.
You are. That's why I have not watched as much.
You should. I still need to get you on a Drag Race.
I need to watch, then I can.
We'll talk. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Lana's Etsy link below to get some merch. And
cup.
Like the cup.
And cup.
So meta.
The cup hat and cup and cup hat. Cheers.
Oh, production. They're leaving. We need production.
Production.
Haley's going.
Bye,
Production.
production. Bye.